States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Today is December 21st, 2020. A roll call, please.
Myers? Here. Whaling?
Here.
Caparos?
Here.
Kraus?
Here.
Missouri? Here. Possession?
Here.
The minutes from the November 16th meeting, were there any changes or corrections? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second? Any questions to that motion? Roll call.
Meyer?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Caparos?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
And we get a clerk's report.
Total tax revenue received in the month of November is $178,424.62. And just wanted to let everybody know that dog tags for 2021 are on sale now. The tags may be purchased at the Village Hall drive-through window, online through our village website using the e-pay system, or dropping off a payment in our drop box and just giving us a phone call. So many easy ways to be able to do business. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone from the audience wish to address the board? Under my report, COVID-19, probably the most recent news is the vaccine is on its way out, on its way in. Besides that, the stimulus bill, which may be passed today, I don't think it was signed yet. Basically, it has nothing financial given to the municipalities or the local governments, at least at this particular point in time. That's probably the most of that. Our numbers are roughly about slightly above 10% since the beginning. The numbers in Will County are going down, but the hospital rate is what currently is keeping us from going into the other mitigations, or releasing the mitigations. Like I've been saying, just about every meeting, every week, we are on a conference call, about 35 mayors throughout the Cook and Collar counties that have made suggestions to the governor's office on how we can reopen some of our restaurants while keeping certain mitigations in place and making other suggestions. A draft was given to the governor's staff, which was well received. I was disappointed, though, that the governor has already announced that the mitigations are going to stay in place past the first of the year. I think a lot of the mayors were hoping that maybe we can get some of our ideas in place to get some of these businesses open legally again. And the final draft will be approved tomorrow. Once I have that, then I can show you the work we've been doing and go from there. I have a very unique honor this evening. I have a resolution providing for and authorizing landing rights for Santa Claus in the village of Beecher. Apparently, every day prior to this, he's been illegal. We have not been able to find him. So today, we're going to make it legal that he can land in the village. So anyways, whereas the United States Federal Aviation Authority, more commonly referred to as the FAA, is responsible for all flights and landing operations in the continental United States, and therefore requires precise coordination for any and all domestic flying. And whereas in the past 62 years, thousands of man-made objects have been thrown into the atmosphere around this planet, thereby further complicating the safe movement of any flying machines and or sleighs. And whereas the Illinois State Department of Aviation directs that the local authorities establish the necessary approval for any flights to land within the state except at registered airports, and whereas the Sheriff of Will County further delegates that authority when properly approved to the municipalities of those counties. And whereas any miniature sleigh with 8 tiny reindeer shall designate the first reindeer to respond to the landing signal with his blinking red nose, and whereas said sleigh shall be full of toys and will not exceed the air travel weight load limit. And whereas the driver shall be a jolly old elf of outstanding character and shall have in his possession a good flying record. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Beecher, representing the great citizens of the Village of Beecher, provide Santa Claus with all approvals necessary in whatever order required to land at the homes as often as he deems necessary and appropriate on Thursday evening, December 24th, and Friday morning, December 25th. 2020. Be it further resolved that the Police Department, the Public Works Department, and other municipal agencies shall provide speedy and helpful assistance to guarantee safe mixed movement throughout the world. And is there a motion to approve this resolution number, which is 2020-19?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second? There is a second. Any questions? Roll call.
Possession,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Thank you. And with that, we'll say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year before I forget to do that. We need to consider what we're going to do for the January and February meetings. The third Monday of the month are falling on holidays. My suggestion is that we go back to the normal schedule, which I think is what we had thought of in the beginning when we started moving meetings around. That on January, February, we would have the meeting would be on the second Monday of the month. We would cancel the fourth meeting. That's just for January, February. Then when it comes to March, we'll go back to normal. Thoughts, motions?
I'd like to go back to our normal schedule, our more normal schedule.
Okay. You said you would like, is there a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to go back to the, would be the regular schedule of our second and fourth, or you want me to take out the fourth next 2 months?
Okay, motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any question?
Question, is it 2 meetings a month or 1 meeting a month?
We'll do the second Monday of each month, January, February, if necessary, the mayor can call the fourth,
Got it.
Monday, and then March will just.
Got it.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Oh, we said about the computer license. Finance Administration Committee, trustee Corrs.
All right, treasurer's report, Donna?
The month-end balance, the November month-end balance for general, $874,490.89. The November month-end for the village accounts, $2,561,427.62. The month-end balance for the commission accounts, $148,761.32. A combined month-end total of $2,710,188.94. The commission non-AP payments total $493,086.18. There was the IEPA loan payment, $188,000. Other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. And then I did also include the credit card comparison report. You can see our residents are still utilizing the online payments. Are there any questions? If not, that ends my report.
All right, variance reports are closed for everyone's review.
Okay, good. Need a motion to approve.
Oh, sorry. I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Possession,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
All right, variance reports are enclosed for everyone's review. Approval of bills, they're in front of you. I don't think, Bob, there was no last minute additions.
No, we cut them off after you approved them Friday.
Okay. So if there's no questions, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this month's bills for a total of $342,165.97.
Motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any questions? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
All right, lastly, 5-year financial plan to be released to the village board for review and discussion at the January meeting. The committee's been working diligently on the preparation of this plan and provided to the board for review and discussion at the January meeting, where it will be presented and discussed. The approval of the plan will then be placed on the agenda for February meeting for consideration, and then the formal budgeting process for the next year will begin. The committee will meet in March to complete the first draft of the budget, which will then be presented to the board for consideration in either late March or early April. If there's no other questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Public Buildings and Properties has no report. Planning, Building, and Zoning has no report. Public Safety has no report. Public Works Committee, trustee Meyer.
For For discussion only, we've met several times with Homewood Disposal for the purpose of possibly doing a 5-year extension for our refuse agreement. They've gone back and forth multiple times, and you'll get a more detailed idea of what we're looking at, but I'm gonna go over it a little bit. There was a memo in your packet discussing some options we had. The first option basically kind of leaves things the way they are now. What they're proposing is instead of a 4% per year increase in our rates, turn that into a flat 75 cents per month per year. First couple of years doesn't make a huge difference, but after that, since you're at a flat rate instead of a percentage, you know, it gives a little bit of savings. And it would lower the cost for the yard waste bin from $190 a year to $160. And they would add, if we're interested, we could add an electronic waste recycling program for 35 cents a month. We'll go into that in more detail because he's going to be here at the next meeting. There's pluses and minuses with all of it. The other option he gave us allows us to have a lower price on the blue yard waste bins. Those would go down to $60 a year. We would be able to eliminate the yard waste sticker program entirely. People would still buy bags, but you could buy them wherever you want and have no more lawn stickers. But the price goes up by a bit in order to cover that, and that would include electronic waste. So with those two, we kind of went back and forth and asked if there was an option where if we didn't want to go to the higher priced plan now, could we start out with the plan that's close to what we have now and then hop over in the future in the next couple of years, and they were open to that. They wouldn't let us start out with a higher price plan and drop down, but we could jump up if we want. So you're going to see a more detailed memo on that for the next meeting, and I believe Frank from Homewood Disposal is going to be coming down to answer questions and go over everything in detail, but that's kind of an overview of what we're looking at. Next, we're considering an extension of an agreement with John Hernandez as a contractual operator for Beecher wastewater treatment plant. The current contract with Hernandez expires April 30th, 2022, and he approached the village regarding an extension through April 30th, 2026. The committee feels it's in the best interest of the village to retain the Class 1 operator as long as possible, since it's extremely beneficial to the village's operating cost. The rates are the same as they were in the existing contract, but in fiscal year '23, they begin to increase by $5,000 per year. The last year of the contract is $62,500 per year, which is less than the top pay for a public works employee. There's also a 60-day termination clause for either party, so we're not binding a future board to this contractor. It's recommended the enclosed contract be approved. It's a good deal, you know, to pay this to the operator, who's doing a good job. It was kind of a no-brainer for us to consider extending this. So, I don't know if anybody has any questions about that.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that. At the time, when John Hernandez was contracted for this, I believe you were with me, right?
Yes.
And through the interview process, even at his highest rate at the last year of his contract is about half of what a Class 1 operator would cost us between wages and benefits. Like I said, I think Trustee Mazurek was with me on that, and I mean, where the salary expectations are for a Class 1 operator from the resumes that we received and stuff. And from everything we've heard from the department, I mean, the guy's a great fit. Everybody loves him, everybody gets along with him. To me, it's a no-brainer if he's looking for an extension. I think him seeing the Public Works Department getting their recent contract, he was looking for a little bit of security and extension also, puts him right there with it. I think it's a no-brainer, slam dunk.
So I will make a motion to extend the agreement with John Hernandez as contractual operator for the Beecher wastewater treatment plant through the extension through April 30th, 2026.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Possession,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whalen,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes. And last, I'm requesting closed session at the end of the meeting to discuss the hiring of 2 public works employees to replace 2 employees who have resigned. 2 employees have resigned in the past month, and there's a need to fill these positions quickly as snow removal season is right around the corner. The committee accepted 600 applications for the positions, interviewed 7 candidates, and is prepared to make a recommendation. Do I need to make a motion for that to go into closed session, or just request it?
At the end,
At the
make
end.
motion. That's it.
And that concludes my report.
I got Economic Development Community Relations, trustee Beecher.
I'd like to consider an ordinance extending the historic downtown business district incentive program until December 31st, 2023. The old ordinance has expired, and this will extend those incentives until 2024. This was generally discussed at the last meeting. The draft ordinance is enclosed for your review. Anyone have anything they'd like to discuss on it? This would be a incentive to draw more businesses in by waiving kind of first year various fees.
Yeah, it's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm, yep,
We'll start it, we'll need to cut it off.
yep.
Fair motion.
Yeah, I'll, we need an ordinance number?
1340.
1340. I will make a motion to approve ordinance 1340 for extending the historic downtown business district incentive.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second, any questions? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Caprows,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes. I'd also like to consider an ordinance extending the moratorium on the collection of certain new residential building permit fees until December 31st, 2023. This was also discussed at the last meeting. Draft ordinance is additionally enclosed for your review. Anybody have anything they'd like to bring up on that one?
1341.
No? Okay. 1341, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1341 for extending the moratorium on the collection of certain new residential building permit fees.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second, any questions? Roll call.
I do have a comment. I did have a call from a representative from Philippi Builders last week, and they said that they have some interest and they're gonna start selling their lots. Again, those empty, try and fill those empty lots, and that they've had some interest in people building here and here, so they were very happy to hear that we were looking at extending this. So that was good news.
Very good.
Any roll call? Roll call. Any roll call?
Possession,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Any old business to come before the board? New business to come before the board?
The 23rd, the police department, fire department, EMA is having their secret Santa. We're starting that at 6 PM, chief?
Yes, sir.
6 PM, and then who's in charge of the food?
Dennis.
Who donated the food?
We bought some of it, a lot of it came from the pantry.
Okay, and then thank the food pantry too for helping out. So we're delivering gifts and a full Christmas meal to the families in Beecher the 23rd.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it?
Yes.
You, are we participating in the parade that I saw from the fire department? Do you know?
Unless,
Chief, did you hear me?
Not
Are we involved in that Christmas parade with Santa, with the fire department at all? I think it was on Christmas Eve.
nothing.
Okay.
I know we're doing it on the 23rd. We're gonna, us, the fire department.
And it was a pamphlet or a brochure that they put out advertising about taking Santa throughout the town.
Oh,
I didn't know if anybody else was involved in it.
I didn't know.
Okay, good, thank you. Any other new business? Is there a motion to adjourn in executive session
So moved.
to discuss the hiring of the two
The hiring,
public works
yeah,
employees?
two public works.
Motion made, second.
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Kraus.
yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Okay. We shut the doors out there?